here to read some poems about Christopher Columbus and some other early explorers. So you actually have two assignments on your on Canvas this morning for this. You get to choose two questions from each page, so you don't have to do all 8 questions. You're choosing 2 from each one. We are going to go over the different questions though together just to help you. So for the Christopher Columbus one, it's define the word dispatch, use it in a sentence. So tell us what that word dispatched means and then use it in a sentence. Number 2, where was Christopher Columbus trying to find on his voyage? Number 3, what inference can be made about Christopher Columbus's voyage based on the line, all dreams end in surprise? And number 4, where did Christopher Columbus end up instead of his original goal? Okay, so we are going to go now and read the story, or the poem, Christopher Columbus. So, Christopher Columbus by J. Patrick Lewis. Spain dispatched 3 ships across the Atlantic on a navigator's hopeless dream of traveling westward to Asia. All dreams end in surprise. Morning, October 12th, 1492. Ahoy! In the Bahamas, he had reached the wilder shores of inhabitation, lost in the future, anchored at the far end of destiny. And that's the last part for Christopher Columbus. So let's go back and answer those questions. So in the story it said Spain dispatched 3 ships. So knowing that it says dispatched 3 ships, think about what that might mean. So dispatched means like sent out. A police officer might be dispatched to a crime scene, or the delivery truck driver is dispatched to their route on their delivery route. Number 2, where was Christopher Columbus trying to find on his voyage? If I go back to the poem, it says navigator's hopeless dream of traveling westward to Asia. So they were trying to find Asia. What inference can be made about Christopher Columbus's voyage based off of the line, all dreams end in surprise? Well, I remember what an inference is, first of all. An inference is something that you take something that I already know, plus evidence from the text, and find something that's not directly stated. All dreams end in surprise. I'm going to go back to that and find it. It says, traveling westward to Asia, all dreams end in surprise. So what I want you to think about was, were they originally trying to go to Asia, and did they end up there? What does that mean when it says all dreams end in surprise? So Christopher Columbus's dream was to find a westward route to Asia, so they didn't have to go down and around. He was not able to find that. He instead ended up in the Bahamas, which is near the United States. So, and then it was just the Americas. So you're going to make your inference based on that information. And then where did Christopher Columbus end up instead of his original goal? Well, back in the text it says, ahoy, in the Bahamas he had reached the wilder shores of inhabitation. So he wound up in the Bahamas. Okay, so we are now done with the Christopher Columbus poem. We are going to go to the early explorers. Let's read our questions first. The poet describes penguin tracks as shambling. What do you think the word shambling means? Use it in a sentence below. What kind of environment does the poet describe in this poem? Would these be easy environments to explore? The poet says these places are where none of us have ever been. In the next line, they say all have been crossed. What has already been crossed in these places? And 4, do you believe that there should be places on Earth where humans aren't allowed? Why or why not? Okay. Let's just make sure. Latitude, longitude dreams. Magellan moved via stars Steered by his ship by celestial rays, Columbus sailed on over the edge, discovering lands and waterways. They traversed their dreams, set their course, voyaging over oceans and seas, etching each with invisible designs, crossing rivers, ice, and trees. These lines that slide from pole to pole, wrapping around the watery earth, coordinating all of us on this globe, our home, our ship, our planet Earth. And then this is the poem that the questions are about. Okay, early explorers. No place on Earth is ever undiscovered, even in Antarctica, where whole mountains are hidden under ice. Penguins already laid shambling tracks in the snow before we traveled there, the hottest desert, the deepest jungle, where none of us has ever been, all have been crossed and crossed again by wings whirling or silent, feet furred or scaled, hoofed or bare by adventurers we will never know, explorers who will never tell us what wonders they have seen. Okay, so let's go and answer those questions. The poet describes the penguin tracks as shambling. What do you think the word shambling means? Use it in a sentence below. So let's find where shambling is in the text. So it says, penguins already laid shambling tracks in the snow. What do you hear in there that might help you understand what that means? I know that when I walk in the snow, it can be kind of difficult. However, I know that penguins were made to walk in that snow. They're on ice and snow. So what shambling means is moving with a slow or shuffling gait. So they're slowly walking over that snow. So I want you to use that in a sentence below. These kind of environment, or what kind of environment does the poet describe in this poem? Would these be easy environments to explore? So the environments that I'm hearing are Antarctica with snow and ice so thick it's covering mountains. The hottest desert, the deepest jungle where none of us have ever crossed. So I want you to think about what those environments are saying, and do you think they would be easy to explore? Why or why not? Number 3, the poet says these places are where none of us have ever been. In the next line, they say, all have been crossed. What has already crossed these places? Let's go back to the text to find the answer. So where none of us has ever been, all have been crossed and crossed again by winged, whirling, or silent, feet furred or scaled, hoofed or bare, by adventurers we will never know, explorers who will never tell us what wonders they have seen. So I want to think about those descriptions. Obviously, those are not human descriptions. And so what the author is talking about here is animals are a part of those environments. And so they're exploring them. They know them. Obviously, they're not telling us about them. And so even though they're not explored by humans, they are explored by the animals that live there. And then finally 4, do you believe that there should be places on Earth where humans aren't allowed? Why or why not? So that's an opinion question. I want you to be able to answer that. You can use evidence from the text or just give your opinion on that. Great job today, 5th graders. Thank you.